Okay, we're ready to go now.
This is Penn Sunday School, and to our listening ears, all angels sings and round us rings the music of the spheres.
Here we go.
Brothers, sisters, siblings, welcome to Penn Sunday School, starring Penn Jillette. My name is Michael Godot. Matt, Reddy, Rich, Penn, and I are broadcasting from our separate homes in Las Vegas. This week, Godot is teaching Penn and Teller how to spin plates. Matt's got a Fool Us roundup, and Penn watched For All Mankind. Here he is preaching love, Mr. Penn Jillette.
Oh, yeah, I'm preaching love today. How are you all doing out there, brothers, sisters, siblings? Are you ready to rock and roll? Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest fucking rock and roll band in the world, Penn Sunday School. Ready to go?
You noticed that last week's show seemed a little slow?
No, but I'm aware that last week's slow was a little show.
Slow as a little show.
So I'm pumping it up a little bit this week. You get locked in the house for months. You change. You just change a little bit.
Yeah.
The longest I've gone in 53 years without doing a show for live people.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
My dog talked to me this morning. That's how bad things have gotten. My dog spoke to me.
What did he say?
I was in the bathroom, and the dog came walking in, and I looked at the dog and I said, I haven't thrown the ball for you in a few days. That's my fault. And the dog burped, and it sounded exactly like she said, wrong. Well, wow. I've been in confinement too long, I guess. The dog said, wrong. It's my fault.
Do you have a dog, Matt Donnelly?
I don't. My kids definitely want one.
I'll tell you, my mother-in-law and my children have this false history. They have this story they tell, this narrative, that Daddy did not want to get a dog, and then he got the dog Tater, and they just fell in love and were best buddies. And it has not happened.
That's why your dog doesn't talk to you.
For after a great deal of, pressure, I will pat the dog on the head.
Yeah.
And the dog does, it's a big full-size poodle, and it does run around and follow me. And when I play my bass, it lays at my feet as I play my bass. When I go out in the backyard and read, it sits by my side. But I say hello, dog, if my children are listening, so they think I have some interaction. And I will scratch its fluffy head a little bit. And I have invented a way to clip the dog. That is my invention. Our dog is what's called a party poodle.
All right. I didn't realize. Party poodle.
Party poodle, which means both black and white mixed together. Cow-like in the black and white,
Party is Pardy.
Yeah, party.
Oh, never mind.
So I got this idea that I'd never seen done in a dog. And when we had the dog clipped, instead of getting the classic poodle cut or any of that kind of stuff, we had all the white trimmed down and all the black left to grow. So the dog is now a random 3D relief map. It has these big growths of black all over it at random. The spots all have grown out like 3 inches, and everything else is shaved down.
Who is in charge of cutting the dog's hair?
There is a person who does that professionally. Someone decided in their life that that's what they wanted to do.
My daughter wants to.
She wants to be a dog groomer?
That's one of her career choices, yes.
What are the others? I mean, what other could you possibly have to be that hateful?
She wants to open a fan coffee shop for kind of like a Ready Player One themed sort of place where you have a lot of different games and stuff.
Oh, yeah, a game.
Not snake handler?
Snake Handler number 3.
She wants to break people's toes with chairs, pinky toes with chairs.
But
many interests, my daughter.
What I mean is your professional dog groomer took this request to do this topological map On your dog?
Yes, and thought it was the most interesting. I took the dog for a walk, which I sometimes do, because I do not want the dog to suffer. I just wish it weren't living in the house.
Okay, I figured this out. Your dog wants alimony. And so there's a private investigator taking photos. And by all accounts, when they turn the photos in, you love that dog. It's at your feet. It's right next to you. You walk with it. There's no photos that would suggest that you don't love the dog the way you've stated.
So the dog will have petimony.
Yes. The dog will have petimony.
I need to mention that the chat is already disappointed that you are continuing to use the word dog and not
Instead of
poodle dog.
Poodle dog, right? Poodle dog, right? I made the children say poodle dog in honor of Frank Zappa, and I should say it. But when I take it for a walk, sometimes a person in a golf cart, will come out or something. There aren't many people around, but when they are around, the guy will say, "Well, why is your dog cut like that?" And I'll say, "'Cause it looks stupid." And he'll say, "Sure does." That's my entire interaction with a stranger over the past 4 months, I think. My party poodle dog.
Confirming that you did. It is a fine sanity test. You're like, if I'm really losing it, I'm going to give my dog an insane haircut. And if the world tells me it's insane, then I still have a bead on the earth. I still have a little something going on.
Meryl Marco, who used to write for Letterman, and great writer. I sent her pictures of my dog, my poodle dog, and she was extremely amused. She loves dogs. And she also thought that I had brought something to the poodle dog clipping community with the 3D relief map of the dog. It's like if you were blind, you'd be able to tell the spots of my dog. And it does look like he's a relief map of Mongolia.
Next, you can shave in Braille "Pet Me" on his back.
And then my mother-in-law has a dog too, that I will not interact with at all.
No, there's no feet sitting or anything?
I find it much more unpleasant than our dog.
Okay.
It's short and squat and slow. And it
Sounds like my mother-in-law's dog. I feel the same way. It's a lesser dog than my dog's.
This only helps the petimony case that you're expressing rank in love for dogs.
Well, it's a goofy thing. This, having an animal live in your house. Very strange.
Yeah.
And there's the one thing that the poodle dog does that makes me laugh. Really makes me laugh. Every time. Is we have a sliding door from our family room that goes outside. And the dog there's a bathroom door on the other side of the house that has a doggy door in and out. So I will go out the sliding door to read. And when I go out, I try to slide the door closed so my dad would say, "Cool down the whole world," with the air conditioning. So I try to close the sliding door. So the poodle dog will run up with me. And then as I'm going out the door, I slide the door, which is too quick for him to get out. And he stands back respectfully. That as soon as the sliding door closes, he runs as fast as he can around the house, runs out the doggy door, and gets to the seat where I'm going to sit and read before I get there. And it's a very loud process with sliding and banging through the door and getting himself there. And then when I finish reading, he repeats the process. And that's even funnier because the final way in the family room is a tile floor. So the last really 15 feet, he slides. Because he goes very fast. It's a very strong and fast dog.
Yeah.
Poodle dog. But he now has a relief map carved into him. And my children say that the dog looks too stupid. But I don't think the dog knows, right? The poodle dog doesn't know he looks stupid.
Nah.
I don't think so. I don't think so. We actually, our house has a doggy door already built into it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Which
like,
is a way to just bother your children.
yeah, it's just a way for my kids to definitely remind me that we can have a dog should we choose to have one. And then we were at my deceased father-in-law's house over the weekend, going through the funeral process, and there was a 2 cats and a dog in the house at the same time with the family congregated. And it's been a while since I've had pets, so the whole process of cats with their dry food and their wet food or whatever is disgusting. So we're definitely going to be a dog household, if any household, just on the feeding process alone.
But the cats make the shitting process less unpleasant.
That's true.
The dogs, I have this beautiful view out my office window. That's trees and fake grass and a swimming pool and mountains in the background and birds in the trees.
Yeah.
And then a dog squatting and shitting. I hate everything about that. I used to go out on the fake grass and I used to frolic barefoot. I used to juggle out there and really enjoy my back lawn. My backyard is now a dog toilet where I have to watch them shit and then have to not walk out there.
Yeah.
I can no longer walk in my backyard.
All right. Okay. So this gives me something to reconsider.
The
Do your kids go in and out the dog doors?
No, they're too big for the
They are.
dog
Okay.
door.
Wow.
I mean, I've tried. I try to put them out that way, but it doesn't work out. One collarbone fracture later, I know. Lay off.
But I'll tell you, my backyard used to be beautiful. And now
Yeah.
my backyard is, I might as well be living in an apartment. I can't go outside.
Oh, whoa. That's a shame. I definitely have seen pictures of you juggling in your backyard. It was very,
It used to be wonderful.
Yeah.
And I used to also, when I was thinking about things or on a phone call or something, I would walk and pace in the backyard. Have
Yeah.
the birds up in the trees and stuff. That's all taken away.
Oh, that's very like 90s, like the player, like a man making moves, walk around his big backyard.
Yeah.
You're entitled to that.
You'd think, Darwin, if you want to know why I haven't written a book as important as On the Origin of the Species, which you're probably saying, geez, Penn, we really thought you had a book as important as On the Origin of the Species in you.
Yeah.
Why haven't you written it? Because Charles Darwin would pace in his backyard thinking about worms, thinking about
Yeah.
pigeons and breeding. And
Finches, yeah.
yeah, he would walk along doing that. I can't do that any longer.
You know, in St. John, there's a beach, I think it was renamed, Gibney Beach, but it was called Oppenheimer Beach because Oppenheimer lived there. And he would often walk up and down the shoreline where the...
Not dodging dog shit.
No, not dodging. No dog shit to be found there.
Thinking what he had done with the Manhattan Project
Yeah.
and how he could,
Crying, sobbing.
and how he could repurpose his great mind for peace.
Yes.
That's what he was thinking along the beach. Not, I hope I don't step in shit.
Right.
Because if anybody in our history of our United States has stepped in shit, it was Oppenheimer.
Yeah. Metaphorically up to his knees.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. He unleashed hell.
Yeah.
But that's my backyard, which was, and now we'll have to find a place to plate spin. Normally I would just put it out in the backyard to do this. I want to get to you teaching us plate spinning. I want to get to everything, but we have to talk about Fool Us, because we don't talk about Fool Us on Sunday. We talk about it on Wednesday, and then there's been another show on Monday, and it gets very, very confusing. First, before we talk about Fool Us, and this I know that the some of the acts that were on were controversial, so I want to get to that.
Yeah.
But first, let's see what exciting ads we have. We have this one. Good. We have two good ones that you're going to want to listen to. For those of you who skip over the ads, don't skip over these, because we got Blinkist. And Blinkist is really, really good. For those of you who don't know what Blinkist is, Blinkist takes nonfiction books and condenses them down. With our ever-changing routine, there's never been a better time to learn something new. With thousands of options available, finding the best way to learn can be challenging. My recommendation is an app called Blinkist. Blinkist is unique and powerful, works on your phone, your tablet, and your web browser. Blinkist gives you the best key takeaways, the need-to-know information from over 3,000 nonfiction bestsellers in over 27 categories. Blinkist condenses them down into blinks, which you can read or listen to in just 15 minutes. And now Blinkist offers its members even more, including exclusive original podcasts from top authors and creative thinkers. You get access to the entire Blinkist library of the membership, and now you can dive deeper into full-length nonfiction audiobooks at a special discounted price. It's just really great. It's everything you're going to remember from a book. Like 3 weeks later, it's everything you remember from a nonfiction book without learning the other stuff. I use it all the time when I just want my mind to wander when I'm driving, which is not as often as it used to be. But I love it. I highly recommend it. The stuff they got, The Barefoot Investor by Scott Page, Everything is Fucked, a book about hope, Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind, which is by Noah Harari, just fabulous. Other stuff, Outgrowing God by Richard Dawkins, Hacking Darwin, The Future of Capitalism. Right now, Blinkist is a special offer just for our audience. Go to Blinkist.com/Ed to start your free 7-day trial and get 25% off Blinkist premium membership and up to 65% off audiobooks, yours to keep forever. That's Blinkist, spelled Blinkist, Blinkist.com/PENN to get 25% off a premium membership and a 7-day trial. Blinkist.com/Penn. We have another one of my favorite ads to do. What could be more important than a good night's sleep? You want a peaceful place to sleep. You want ambient noise. It can be helpful if you find the right kinds. I often sleep to rain. Don't drink caffeine past 3 p.m. or don't drink it at all. Keep your bedroom in a cool, happening temperature. Optimum sleep temperature is low mid-60s. Did you know that?
Wow, no.
No.
Create a before-bed routine to keep calm in your mind. I do 5 minutes of Henny Youngman jokes. Journal, read, color, or lay out clothing for the next day. I'll also tell you having a great bed is helpful. I love my Sleep Number bed. My favorite bed features. I now leave my feet up a little bit, which is better. My blood pressure, better for everything. I elevate my feet a little bit. And I sleep at about, I guess I've got it set at about pretty hard, about 95 firmness. I like to sleep on a hard bed. Right now, sometimes I go softer. It's an off-label use. You know, they say each person has their own side of the bed that they put their own level on, but you can change your own level too. It's really, really nice to sleep. And during quarantine, I've been sleeping better and longer and deeper, and it's really, really important. In times of stress and uncertainty, self-care is more important than ever. Quality sleep is one of the best methods to boost your physical and mental health. Discover proven quality sleep for your health and well-being with the Sleep Number 360 smart bed. And now, for a limited time, save up to $900 on select smart beds. Shop your way at Sleep Number store online at sleepnumber.com/Penn. And that means we're coming to the end. Sleepnumber.com/Penn. And Sleepy Cube. Terrible. We're terrible. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Sleepy Cube. Now my voice is shot, and that's our Sleepy Qs are not really up to snuff lately, but our heart is in them. Our heart is in them.
I passed a business on the way home called Pizza Q, and I was really, really happy.
Maybe they would hire us.
You can sell them an ad.
Although now with QAnon going crazy, Q used to be NRBQ to me.
Yeah.
But now QAnon, we've now had one House of Representatives swear herself in as a QAnon person.
That's so weird.
And one of Trump's people, the guy that just, what's his name, who was going to jail.
Roger.
No, the other one. The other one.
Manafort.
Manford?
Manafort.
There's Manafort, and there's also
Another one with an M. Anyway.
I'm 2 for 3.
yeah.
Anyway, he just did a big swearing in of QAnon. Crazy shit. Anyway, let's talk Fool Us.
All right. It's episode 3 of season 7. And your first magician up was a gentleman named Caleb Wiles, who was on for the second time in his Fool Us career. And he brought on the Fool Us the home game. He had mini chairs.
Oh, yeah.
And a mini crane with the 3D printed Fool Us trophies, tiny Fool Us trophies.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
And he did a card trick where he had 2 jokers in there. And the jokers were you and Teller. And then Teller called out the particular card. You called out a suit. And then he had Allison do everything. And all of a sudden, that card was in between the 2 jokers. And then he thought he was going to fool you with a kicker by then flipping over the cards. And he had the card predicted on the back of your cards as the jokers.
Right.
But you didn't. You busted him.
Yes, we did. Busted him wide open. But we liked him, didn't we?
Yeah. Caleb Wiles is a good guy. He's a great thinker. He's come on with really fun tricks both times. These are one of the situations that's funny about the show is that like sometimes you get so excited when you figured out someone's tricking you have all these really fun ways to sneak in code. You'll skip over telling them great things.
Oh, did I skip that over?
And you did. You skipped over Caleb without his accolades.
Oh, that's terrible. Because I really liked him. That's why in my headset after that, they were saying, remember, talk about the act.
But it was good. It was this was a fun episode in terms of like, there's a lot of different styles and a lot of.
Sorry, Caleb. Sorry.
You say nice things about him now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could. Caleb Wiles, wonderful magician, fabulous magician. I loved him. Both times he's been on, he's been wonderful. He's a fabulous, great magician, best in the world. Now you can use that, Caleb. Pull that out of the podcast.
I bet he does.
This episode features Teller's wet dream and then your wet dream in this as well. So the next guy up was a guy named DK, Asian gentleman who did a thing with like a flashlight becoming a ball on a screen. So he had like a little tiny screen. He had little snow, or according to Reddit, cocaine on all over his table. But he had a flashlight. It's a crazy visual thing, kind of thing that I like waved my children to come over and watch, and they both loved and couldn't believe it. But turns a flashlight into an actual ball. Everything disappears back and forth. It's hard to describe over the air. It's just it's one of those really visual, self-contained routines where he has a hole, and all of a sudden it's like Roger Rabbit, where he pulls out a hole, puts it on the ground, but then the hole works and he rolls the ball into it. That kind of.
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
It's cups and balls with a screen.
I'm trying to do the layman's approach to this, and then there's Reddy right there. For magicians, it's FISM gold is what it is. Teller just loves his use of light and shadows and everything, sleight of hand and everything else like that. And Teller is aghast, and you thought it was a nicely performed trick.
Yeah, that's not the kind of thing that grabs me. I mean, it's really good.
Yeah.
People love it, but not the kind of thing that's reading my mail,
No. The guy who's up next is the guy who reads your mail.
This may have been my favorite act the whole season.
Yeah, he was warning me. He's like, I'm listening today, just so you know. And I was like, I don't think you need to worry about anything we're going to say. Even though it's kind of unfair, Wes Isley. You can't message me before we talk about you. You got to wait till after.
I like Wes Isley. I like everything about him.
Yeah.
First of all,
Yeah.
he has an act that he can play 5,000 people.
Yeah.
And I believe he needs to bring no props with him.
Yes. That's
None.
Yeah.
None. I mean, none. This is my dream act. The only thing I didn't like about him was that I didn't think of it. It is intellectually stimulating. It has a great puzzle quality. It is light, easy, breezy, and he uses a $50 piece of paper and a pen.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. What he does is he has, he flips a coin, has a person from the audience, or was it Allison, right?
Allison.
He had Allison. Yeah. He brings
Allison calls what it is, heads or tails, but people call beforehand. If they think it's going to be heads, they raise their hand. And if they think it's going to be tails, they keep their hand down. And everybody in the audience does that. He flips a coin. Allison calls it out. Everyone who was wrong sits down.
Yeah.
And then they do it. He does it again and again and again. And you can run this mathematically. If it were random for an audience of 1,500, you're going to do it about 8 or 9 times.
Yeah.
We have fewer than that. So we did it about 5 or 6 because our audience isn't, we don't have the balcony in use when we do Fool Us. And he flips the coin. And finally, he gets down to a very few people. And these are all people, of course, who have all voted the same all the way through. The same as one another, not the same as themselves.
Right.
So if you've done the coin flips in an audience that size, you've got 12 people who've predicted every flip so far.
Yeah.
And then he tells them, you have to pick different from each other now.
Yeah.
And finally, he was down to 2 people. He said, pick different. He flipped a coin. Person sat down. And then Allison has been holding a piece of paper the entire time.
Yeah.
She reads out what it is, and it's a prediction of who that guy will be,
Yeah.
or who that person will be.
Facial hair, t-shirt, a shirt color, that kind of stuff. Like all kinds of descriptions, not like simple ones.
And it is so, first of all, it deals with random. And random fascinates me. That's the title of my new book.
Yeah.
And I think about random all the time. I love running things at random. I used to do a thing, I don't know if you know this, I used to do a thing called dining by chance. Were you part of that, Godot?
No.
We did dining by chance. When we were writing, I'm surprised you weren't part of it. Because I thought it was when we were writing Sin City Spectacular.
Maybe I just don't remember.
We did a thing where every day the writers, we had a writer's room of 4 or 5 people. We'd all go out to supper. Maybe you didn't, Godot, 'cause maybe you went home for supper.
Yeah, maybe.
But everybody else, all the single people, will go out to supper together. And every time, where are we going to go to supper, broke down into a kind of a ennui argument. I don't know, seafood. Do we have Japanese this week yet? I don't know. What do you feel like? Let's go someplace we can eat outside so I can smoke. No, I want to get some vegetarian options. Yeah, well, I want meat. So we came up with dining by chance. And we actually had a writer's assistant take the phone book for restaurants, the yellow pages. Remember those?
Yeah.
And cut them up into card size chunks and then paste card size chunks on playing cards. And then we would shuffle the cards, cut them, open it, and then read the top one, go to supper there, and then cross it off. And our rule was, if you were going to go to supper with us, you had to decide to go before. Couldn't wait till we chose. So this would send us to little dives downtown that we never heard of. We had another rule, which was McDonald's was in there, but it was once. Little Caesar's Pizza was in there, but it was once. And we also had, there were some very expensive restaurants. But those were rare enough that the people felt they could afford it. And we did dining by chance, and it was fabulous because you ended up going to places you would never, ever go to have supper.
Yeah.
Nice.
And, a lot of the places were terrible.
Right. Yeah.
But who cares?
When I was in Taiwan, I was working with a partner, and in Taiwan at that time there was no way you could read anything. There was no English. There was no Americanized letters. Nothing. Not like Japan where they had food outside that you could see pictures of. Taiwan was just a piece of paper with typing on it or writing on it, so you had to pick your meals. And one of us would go first each night and pick 2 meals. And then when the meals showed up, the person who didn't choose got to pick which one he wanted.
I say, great. When I was, before I was vegan and I was concerned about my health, I would go to restaurants all the time and say, just bring me food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. That was great.
I just
That's
loved it.
still a really good way to order.
It really is. And you can even do it when you're vegan. You can even say, I'm vegan, but bring me food. And I even went to chains like Chevy's, Chevy's,
Yeah.
and said, bring me anything. And the chefs cooked me special food.
Oh, yeah. 'Cause it must, especially there, they must have been like, oh, great.
Yeah.
Actually, flex a little bit here.
Yeah. And I said, they would say, I would say, price doesn't matter, whatever, make it the highest price thing in your menu if you like, but bring me something. And I remember we were over in England, Tim Jennison, Farley Ziegler, and we were working, it was 10 years ago today. We were working on Tim's Vermeer. We were, we had just finished doing some recording and we were going out to restaurants, and the three of us, Farley, Tim, and I, would eat anything. So we would go to like a really nice Indian restaurant and say, bring us anything.
Yeah.
And they would say, do you want to stick with a Western palate? We'd say, no, not at all. Anything. And we'd get great, crazy food.
Yeah.
I've done that at Lotus of Siam
Yeah, a lot of times.
and got stuff that, smells like gym socks, but tastes great. It's a fabulous way. So my interest in random is tremendous. My interest in a bit that's all intellectual and does not play for props.
Yeah.
My interest in using the whole audience as your beautiful tapestry with no stage set, but just the whole audience is it. Everybody participates. It deals with, it's the intellectual ideas are great. So we had 2 ways it could be done when we watched.
Yeah.
One of them was right. We guessed the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens on Fool Us.
Yeah.
So once he said no, there was no surprise.
Exactly. Yeah. Once you were leaning into whether or not he fooled it or not, like it was very clear everyone knew what was going on as soon as your first guess was off.
Yep, we knew it instantly. And then he also taught it to me.
Right.
And I practiced it. And I also added another wrinkle to it so that we have a teller part, where teller's taking Polaroid pictures of people in the audience.
Oh, neat.
And then he gets like 10 of those, has someone pick it. And the one he picks is the one who's standing. He's done before. I thought it was a really nice idea. But I got permission from the cat to do them, you know. But I don't think we can do it because, now they're doing tricks guys on their show did.
Now, Wes is on the chat right now.
Oh, hilarious.
So just to take a step back here, can we get a show of hands? Everybody here who's afraid of Wes Isley?
I like him. I like him a lot. He sent me other stuff from his website and stuff. Although I'll tell you, nobody can remember the name Isley. You notice that?
Yeah.
It's Isley, but is it like the Isley brothers?
That's how I heard it.
Well, then I'll remember it forever.
We'll find out in a minute.
But Wes Isley. And he's...
You flipped out. As soon as he started, Teller turned to you and said, "This is a you kind of trick. This is as you written all over it."
It is probably, this includes, by the way, Penn and Teller bits. The most Penn bit of the whole season.
And the cameras actually caught you, and this is very rare for fools. They subtitled you telling Teller mid rounds, "I could not love this trick more."
I really do. I just loved it so much.
And what's fun, especially if Wes is on the chat, what's fun is that like you often get put in positions to also lecture and do other things like that besides that, and you often don't like to mix your art forms. So if you're there to lecture, you lecture, and you don't like to do magic tricks if you're asked just to talk. This is definitely one that you can definitely just whip out at a huge lecture if you're running like 10 minutes short or something like that. Like you could just...
Wes has been very kind to me.
Yeah.
Of course, we've learned that when I hope people have learned that I will, if I do it, I will very likely say this is a Wes Isley trick.
Yeah.
The only thing would stop me from doing that is not remembering his name. But now that I can think of the Isley brothers,
Which is correct.
which is correct. This old heart of mine been broke 1,000 times, each time a different way. I'll just think that, I'll just think of Wes flipping his coin while the Isley brothers sing that.
It's your thing.
It's your thing. Do what you want to do. Oh, yeah, that's right. The Isley brothers, it's your thing, right? Am I right with this whole heart of mine too?
Yes.
Okay, good. But it's your thing is better. It's your thing.
Yeah.
So it's Wes Isley's thing is that coin flip thing. I just loved it. And Norman Beck. You all know Norman Beck.
Yes.
We had him on the show. Norman Beck saw that and was driven crazy because he has done coin flips, controlled coin flips, and he told me this whole story about how great his coin flipping routine was, and he was bragging. You saw this guy, but this is what I do with it, and what he did with it was so sucky compared to Wes Isley.
That's where I was surprised that I knew you had to go one or the other with a guess. I thought because of Norman Beck talking to you about that, I thought you were going to go the other way on the guess.
I should have. Thing was that here's why I went with the other guess. You want to know the truth?
Yeah.
The truth is that the truth of it, how he really did it, makes it worse that I didn't come up with it. Because now I can't, it's not my laziness, it's just my stupidity. Now we're giving too big a hints, I guess, on West Side.
Yeah.
No, we're not. I guess we're not actually.
Yeah.
I guess we're not, because the idea is so profound and so hard to think of that he'll still fool people with it.
And there's a prediction element we haven't talked about at all, which is fantastic. So
Yeah.
Now, Norman Beck is not on the chat. Do you want to give a hands up as who's afraid of Norman Beck?
I'm very afraid of Norman Beck, though.
He knows people, right?
Yeah.
He knows everybody.
He if he can take on Lance Armstrong in court, I'm afraid he can take us all.
He knows everyone that we don't know and everyone we're afraid of knowing.
It'd be interesting to have Norman calculate because he does, he does insurance, calculations for possible foolers. He should be giving out different odds for different people or whatever.
Oh, that's true.
That come on the show.
Who's next?
Your last contestant was from Germany, a tall blonde woman named Alana, who came out and she had all the hands come out of her jacket.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that was a
Alana,
great
she's
act.
wonderful, isn't she?
Ah,
Yeah.
such a good act. Such a good act, and really used how women traditionally dress to her advantage.
Yeah, that was the whole point when we talked pre-interview is that even though we are doing a great job in recent times of getting more women and minorities involved in magic, everything is still written for men's outfits and men's hands that go back centuries. So it's going to be a while till that stuff catches up.
And she just moved it forward like about 10 years.
Yeah. I think her, even last year we had Anna de Guzman, who was an Instagram girl doing all kinds of fun cardistry with card tricks. It's neat to see different thinking that's not coming from traditional paths of magic that are people just inventing to suit their tastes. Alana has a very successful Instagram account as well. And she very much is a fashion passionate person and is into making magic into it. There's a whole routine.
Say her name again.
Alana.
Alana, that's just one
Just
name.
goes by one name, yeah, Alana.
Actually, Alana Teller is her full name.
Is it?
No.
No.
But, German
Yeah. Who
could
knows?
be. But Alana. And check her out on Instagram. Check her out everywhere. Boy, that was a good show, wasn't it?
It was a good show.
She's also a real professional working act. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I've done shows with her in Europe. I did a show with her in Belgium with Paul Daniels.
Oh, wow.
So
I miss
Yeah,
Paul.
So she's good.
She works a ton, and then that's actually like half of her kind of quintessential variety act. The second half, which I saw in rehearsals, but it was too long for the show, is then she does a series of earring stuff where she takes earrings on and off and replaces it and just scatters them all over the stage. It's the fastest sleight of hand for earrings I've ever seen.
Nice.
Carissa does earring stuff too.
Yeah.
Carissa Hendricks.
Yeah.
Purple Haze. And Carissa Hendricks has this great story. Carissa Hendricks is a wonderful magician.
Yes.
I love her. And her name is Hendricks. And she was driving to see us at a gig outside of L.A. She was driving to see us with Moon Zappa.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And they had a minor fender bender with a boomer, a guy in his 60s, minor fender bender. And they pulled over in the exit. And he said, we should exchange names so that we can, with the police, it's just a minor thing, but for insurance. And Carissa said, you just had a fender bender with Hendrix and Zappa. Guy was freaked out. Of course, mostly because Moon Unit Zappa is actually Frank Zappa's daughter.
Right.
But still, the little added on of Hendrix, even though she's not related, as far as I know, to Jimmy, was a pretty good thing. But she does a nice earring thing too.
Carissa's one of the people, during COVID, she turned like a private show that was unlisted into a public show, but you could see her entire Chicago Magic Lounge show on YouTube. It's a really great magic show. Really well done.
And I'm going to do her podcast.
Oh, cool.
Next week or something.
Very cool. Yeah.
I also did a Big Think podcast. It was my favorite interview I think I've ever done. If you want to check out Big Think, my interview last week.
Think? I thought you said Fink, Fink.
And it spoiled me because then I had to do another pre-interview with somebody else.
Oh.
And it was awful. It was a person saying to me, do a card trick. When we do the interview, I said, I was just going to, he said, I want a card trick. It was that kind of stuff. Like.
I know how to get what I want, what I need for this show.
Yeah. You're coming on my show and it's an important show. And I was awful too. I was terrible too. I was in a lousy mood and it was shitty. Anyway, what was our trick?
You got together with your friends, The Passing Zone, and did basically a sketch. It was like a bit.
It was a bit.
Really funny. But you Teller started building a house of cards. You told everybody this is a delicate process. Please no flash photography. And then you let your friends come out to see Teller building it. And then you started to juggle around them. Then you juggled flaming torches around them. Then you juggled chainsaws and tasers around them. And then you just brought up this giant swing and you're juggling upside down while throwing knives across the thing at them. And Teller successfully was building this really nice card castle. And then Owen took a photo of him with a flash and it fell down.
Yep. Now, I'm just going to talk about my acting here.
Yeah.
Since you're an acting coach. Did I telegraph it from the first moment or did I get away with it till The Passing Zone came out?
I think you got away with it till The Passing Zone came out.
Because, you can't, once you bring people out, there's no way you can sell it.
No, I mean, one of the things, even like writing for you in other capacities and stuff, is that you love saying the same thing and changing the subtext slightly.
Yes,
each time. And everyone else, is basically taught to do the opposite, to find a different way to say the same thing all the time. But you kept saying no flash photography, throughout the whole thing. And it really became such a great little buffer for each heightening. And then Teller, who does nothing but, practicing fake stuff for magic, like how would he really do it kind of thing, is such a perfect deadpan because of it. He's perfect at deadpan. So it really was this fantastic deadpan from both of you.
And my son, who, hurts my feelings, doesn't watch Fool Us. Said to me, Dad, they should do a trick where one person's juggling upside down, one other person's juggling right side up. And I said, well, you little prick. If you watched Fool Us, you might see that your dad's already done that. And the good ideas you get in your life, some of them your dad will have done, and the really good one Wes Isley will have done.
I think that's what's hard probably having a dad in show business like that, is that when you're young, you do reinvent stuff and all your friends don't have the scope to know that it's been invented before. So you really do think you're doing so many things for the first time when you're coming up in your teens and 20s trying to do bits and stuff. So you raining on his parade, I'm sure, is ultimately helpful, but he doesn't get the same freedom that some other kid would.
I think I invent everything. I thought I invented masturbation. I consider myself to have invented everything.
You walking on the shores of the beach on Oppenheimer Beach.
Yeah,
invented masturbation.
I get an idea. And if I had, bigger than the atomic bomb, really, for how it changes the world.
Could you imagine how much more war we would have if we were not able to?
As a matter of fact, they're going to find out that, all these guesses as to why the world's getting more peaceful, it's going to end up being Pornhub. So that was a really good Fool Us episode.
It was a really good Fool Us episode. This season was really good.
Yeah, this is a good season, yeah. And T-Taw 2 is coming out June 27th, I think. Is June 27th a Monday? Can someone tell me?
Is it T-Taw 3?
T-Taw 2. T-Taw 2 is airing.
Got it.
27th is a Monday.
T-Taw 2 at 8 o'clock. That's Try This at Home, which is much better than the first one. Came out really well, and we're doing that. So I'm still doing cameos. You go to cameo.com, and people are getting very, very creative. Somebody who had me do a cameo. A cameo is like you go to cameo.com, and you can hire me to give any message you want to anybody.
Yeah.
Now, mostly it's birthday, anniversary, stuff like that. But
can they ask you to do a card trick?
Some guy asked me to just tell him, said he was a little bit down, and would I just tell him a funny story?
Oh, that's nice.
That was great. And then someone else who was from Iceland said, I want this for my brother. Go to Google Translator, type in helmet, listen to the Icelandic translation. That's my brother's name. That was fun. I also want to say before this show is over that someone wrote in. Who was it? Who was it that wrote in? Because I'm going to rip this person a new asshole. And I want to get it by
everybody who sent mail is shaken.
Yeah. Let me see here. Okay. James Dawson. Fuck you. Okay. Should we just end right here? No. No, we don't need to end right here. James Dawson, he thought that I did a spoiler on The Invisible Man without warning people. He was really thrilled about The Invisible Man, and his spoiler was that I said the guy was invisible because of having a suit.
Ah.
And he said it was a spoiler because he thought that maybe it was psychological. That's what he got from the preview. So this guy watches a preview, then thinks that I spoiled the whole movie. The truth of the matter is she sees the fucking suit within the first 5 minutes of the movie. They show a shot of her seeing the suit. Now, whether her reaction to him being invisible is psychological is still there. But there is an optical suit that he has that you see in one of the first shots. So I did not do a spoiler. And thank you, my dear friend James Dawson, for being worried about that. But I didn't do it. I am, and I don't often do this, I'm going to quote Billy Joel. Whoa. I'm an innocent man. We're going to talk more about your father-in-law's funeral.
Yeah.
We're going to talk more about other viewer mail. And we have to talk a lot about plate spinning. We're going to do that on Wednesday because right now, that was Penn Sunday School.
That was Penn Sunday School.
Cha-cha-cha.
And to our listening ears,
You become naked.
angels sang and round us rang the music of the spheres.
Ha, ha, ha.
That was Penn Sunday School.
Yeah, Wes Isley, man. Why wasn't that my routine? Boy, not being smart and not thinking of things really bites you in the ass, doesn't it?
That was Penn Sunday School. That was Penn Sunday School.
You know we love you.